Mic check, what you gonna do? Mic check, baby. Who is you? I'm your captain.
You're not gonna let go of that because you did that.
I know you did.
That's probably my next t-shirt.
Like you have like rapper aspirations.
I do because y'all are so cool. I be wanting to feel like I got bars and songs too. Mr. Captain, welcome back to another episode of Mind Control Monday. I got with me tonight some
Nisha Michelet.
And I got with me some
Caleb Rashad.
Honey, welcome back to another episode. I'm just going to get right to it because I'm nosy. What'd you do this weekend? Or this week? Or what'd you do?
Yesterday I had brunch. So yeah, that was really nice.
Were there any vegan options?
There were not.
Well, at least you're honest.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
But
I cooked. I was the cook though. I was the chef. You want to know what I made?
Yes.
I made shrimp and grits. Shrimp and grits, eggs, biscuits.
Look at your cosigner up here. Like.
It was bomb. It was so
was really good.
I like vegan shrimp. I like grits.
Is vegan shrimp
vegan shrimp?
Yes. It almost low-key tastes like erasers, though. Not that I eat erasers, but
so it's very chewy.
Very chewy.
Like a rubbery consistency.
I wouldn't recommend it. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. What'd you do outside of eating the bowl of shrimp and grits?
Well, obviously I attended the brunch where Caleb was the chef.
I like how you almost said Chef Caleb. I like
Chef
that.
Caleb, yes.
Okay.
It was
Chef
really
Caleb,
good.
Chef Rashad.
Caleb. Yes. When he's
I
a
like
singer, he's
that.
Rashad.
Like
when he's a
you like
chef,
that?
he's Caleb.
I like it.
Yes, but that was good. Outside of that, just worked. Been doing a lot of working. Grinding,
Well,
hustling.
you got a whole baby here. Somebody
got to feed him and keep a roof over his head. He's getting groomed on Friday.
2 snaps for grooming. Well, y'all, when he gets a haircut, I mean, even though when we all get our hair done, we start acting brand new, but there's just something different about Charlie. Yeah, he start
acting bad and bougie.
He really does.
Bad and bougie with the blowout.
With Brazilian blowout.
Brazilian buzz down.
I'm liking the fact that he's just become just a part of our family. So as y'all see, we are firm believers in our fur babies. So shout out to all the fur babies. Tonight, Nisha, hit us what we're talking about.
Where to become one.
See how they always got bars?
We're going to be talking about communication. I'm sorry, I just laughed because midway in saying that, I was just like, we're going to be talking about talking. Basically.
It is.
No, dead ass. We're going to be talking about communication. We want to elaborate on communication. We want to explore all of the positive forms you can have effective communication, but we also want to explore some of these more negative ways we tend to communicate, when and where those moments transpire, why they transpire. We want to dig deep. So let's get it cracking.
Let's get into it.
One of the things on the list that jumped out at me right away was you listed passive aggressive behavior. That one is a personal pet peeve of mine because it's just such an ineffective way of communicating. I'll give an example. I remember asking a family member. I was visiting family and there was coffee and it was only a little bit left, and I said, oh, is anybody else going to drink this coffee? And I had a family member say, well, I was going to drink the last of it, but you can have it if you want it.
What was your body language or your response?
My response was basically, do you want it or do you not want it? That's why I asked because I wanted to see if anybody wanted it. If they wanted it, I would not take it. That's the whole I was asking to be considerate. But that
what would have been better or different?
It would have been better to say just directly, I want, no, that's okay. I actually wanted to have that.
Yes or no?
Yes, like yes or no. Yes, I want it, or no, it's okay. You can have it.
Got it. Okay.
But I feel like that way it's just very it's murky, it's unclear. So it's do you want it or not? So it's indirect. It's an indirect form of communicating. And that's my biggest problem with passive aggressive communicating is that it's so indirect. And I think it's more so wanting to come off nice or not really having the balls just to be mean. If you want to be mean, just be mean, but you come off passive aggressive and it's underhanded and just
but
really
that also
unclear.
leads us right into the aggression versus being assertive. because there's nothing really wrong with being straightforward.
Not at all.
And you don't have to be
Wishy-washy
and you don't have to be a jerk.
Yeah.
One thing that I like to teach in my clinical settings is that the word no is the same in every language. I don't care if it's Japanese, Swahili, I don't care what it is. The word no is the same in every single language. And I think oftentimes we kind of walk on eggshells. Like you could have been like, that's my last cup of coffee. Yes, they would have probably considered you to be a jerk. They would have been whatever. But I think oftentimes when we are direct and it comes from a very graceful place, then the reception of it is a little better.
I do feel like Americans in particular struggle with that because
I can see that.
Yeah, I feel like directness is like very off-putting. I feel like there's other cultures that have a very direct nature. I feel like a lot of Asian cultures are very direct. I've heard like Russians, Germans, very direct, very straightforward. Whereas we're just kind of like we like to dance around stuff, make it fanciful, sugarcoat, to quote unquote spare people's feelings. But I agree with you. I have, and this took a lot of therapy, but I really don't find anything wrong with direct communication. I think it's when it becomes unnecessarily like aggressive or like how I know a lot of people like to say that they're blunt, but blunt is just like code for like brutally honest, like just like mean honesty, because you can be honest with somebody without being mean. You could say, you know, if somebody makes a choice that's not necessarily the smartest choice, you could say, oh, that was stupid, or you could say maybe that wasn't the wisest decision. You know,
but in the moment, who really goes, should I say stupid fuck or should I say wise? You know,
well, I mean, that comes with, you know, I guess that comes with growth and thinking about what you say before you say it.
Where are some settings where you find yourself being passive aggressive?
Work.
At work.
Corporate offices.
Yeah. And
it's like I really want to tell you off right now.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have to give you.
I'm trying to keep it professional. So how can I say this in the nicest way but still get my point across? And I've you know, falling short of being passive aggressive, but I feel like that's just me like trying to find that balance of, you know, being straightforward, but not too blunt and too aggressive to where like I kind of feed into my people pleasing and like don't want to
say that,
I'm very confrontational. So like I'm trying to figure out how do I communicate this without this person feeling some type of way about it. And so for me, how do you find that balance of like?
I think you have to practice. I think for me, because the work that I do and the profession that I do and the history that I've had with women and people, that I've always had a slick mouth. I've always had a slick tongue. Don't agree with me, Kayla. I've always had a slick mouth and a slick tongue. And sometimes I can use profanity a lot.
Maybe that
Pastor
mouth.
Gwen, if you're watching, I'm working on it.
That tongue is lethal.
My tongue is lethal. But at the same time, over the past year, y'all know I went on my sabbatical. I went on my fast for a whole year. And that was one of the things that I was trying to work on. Is really trying to find the balance between being assertive and being aggressive without being a pushover.
Yes.
Because I think oftentimes people take gracefulness and meekness for weakness.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we find ourselves in the workplace, not really expressing our emotions. And then we bottle that up and then we take that home and do what?
Project it.
We project that onto others once we get home. So if you guys are watching and you find yourself, you know, you really can't tell your upper leadership or your coworker to go f themselves, but then you bottle that in and you go home and you tell it to your partner or you tell it to your kids or you're cruel to your dogs or your animals. That's because there's not a balance.
Yeah. What do you do to expel that energy? Because the thing I've learned about anger, suppression, any of the resentments that you feel, they have to go somewhere. So it's better that you have that control over how you release that, how you release that energy off of you, rather than allowing it to manifest negatively and you have no control over it. You're just popping off over, you know, little things.
That also takes practice. It takes balance, right? You have to be able to, like, for example, Some of us are in traffic a lot. And what do people do? Right. And what's the first thing people do in traffic? They want to flip you off. Yep. They want to do all these multifaceted things.
I'm going to get some batteries.
Yeah. Wait.
Y'all already know what the batteries for.
No, fill me in. Oh, at the car?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Looky.
But that's for crazy people. Throwing batteries at someone's
That's
window.
for the crazy
Throwing batteries at someone's window is actually wild, but road rage is very real.
It is real. Like
it could get you to that point.
No, we have to have a whole episode on that alone. Like I've definitely had.
I think the older I get, like I used to be very like blah 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 blah, right? But now I find it comical. I don't know if it's because I'm in boxing now, whatever it is. It's just kind of like there's this ego, there's this confidence in me. Like you can't match if you try.
Right.
But at the same time, people say they got Twitter fingers, people behind the keyboard, whatever the little term is.
People be like that behind the car.
That's how I feel about people driving.
Yep.
But you also have to understand these are people too who are possibly on their route to the workplace or wherever they're going. And they know that they can't really say that or project those things. So if I can hide behind my car in this window, I can tell you about yourself. I could do whatever. But in actuality, of course, we're not condoning violence, viewers, right? But I don't want anybody like, well, Coach Nita said, get out the car and square up. No, I'm not saying that.
Not me saying I'm non-confrontational and saying I'll throw a battery at somebody's car.
He said it, y'all. I didn't. But one of the
It
things
takes you there. Yeah. Sometimes it just has an ability to just take you there. But I think that in the long run, it helps to just kind of remind us, because what only bad things can come when you allow your emotions to take over you like that.
Yeah.
And, to the point where you're throwing things at people, inciting violence, yelling expletives. Look, I got my
y'all know the therapist in
voice
me
back on.
wants to bring out, there's a beautiful founder by the name of Virginia Satir, right? And she has the Saterian communications model. Y'all know I'm a nerd. The Saterian communication model. So there's 4 types. There's placators, there's blamers, distractors, and computers. What do you think a placator is?
A placator is someone who is going to...
Like a yes man.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
And there's nothing wrong. Shout out to my
placate.
placators out there.
I
What do you
mean-
think a blamer is?
I feel like all of these are self-explanatory. Just someone who needs to put someone at fault.
Put the blame on someone else.
At fault for whatever it is that.
And
you're...
a distractor. People who kind of like change the subject.
Yeah.
People who don't really get straight to the point, or they kind of want to circle
Oh
around.
yeah,
it.
like people who like deflect.
Okay. And then when you think about a computer, what do you think about?
I don't know. A computer.
People who are just,
But I don't know how to
respond
apply
off
to
of
communication.
or they're just like blah. So you could be having an in-depth conversation.
But they're not.
And they're not really present. They're just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Or people who go into agreement. You ever been like telling somebody like a hype story, and then girl, and then they did that, and somebody like, They don't have the same energy.
Or oh, that's crazy. Oh wow. Yeah.
But we've all been guilty of that. Even our viewers, y'all have been guilty of somebody,
100%.
your partner telling you a story about them at work, and you like, for real?
Or somebody at work
She put
always
something on the fax machine.
She
Right.
did not.
No, she didn't. Not
Oh my
baby.
God.
somebody that one person at work that's always complaining like, oh, I'm ready to go home. Oh, is it what time we got to go to lunch? And you just listen to them like, yeah.
I remember I was in a training once, and there was this lady sitting behind me, and she was the entire 8 hours. Oh my God. I can't believe this. Oh my God. And if I told y'all how much they was paying us by the hour to be there, just for those 8 hours, this is me. I would be sitting behind. I sat there just like this. And she was doing it. But I think she was looking for that cultural identification and thought because we was both sisters that I was going to be like, yeah, glow.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like we're on the
feel
same
like,
page.
I feel like that's a form of projection.
That is.
And I feel like it people want you to match their energy. People want to
like
be
don't pull me
validated in
into
their
your misery.
experience.
Like,
yes, exactly. So they want you to join in. They want you to be their yes men and their, peanut gallery, their amen corner. It's so uncomfortable.
Yeah, because it's like we all here together. Like, we all like got to be here till it's time to clock out. So suck it up
all the time. Like, especially like being at a restaurant and maybe like, it's taking long for people to get their food, and then people they in the corner all mad and pissy, and they want you to be mad and pissy with them if you're just patiently waiting and just acknowledging that they're busy, having empathy for them.
Where else does that happen at?
Oh gosh.
At the airports.
It
happens
pretty much any type of customer service.
That's it.
That happens.
So again, we are processing communication and the ups and the downs. When I think about passive aggressive communication styles, sometimes it's not always a bad thing. Because I don't think
it's a good thing.
I think it's a good thing when you're dealing with somebody who could be over impulsive. Because somebody has to be the even kill, right? But also, too, if you're trying to grow and lead by example. Because you ever been into a conversation and both of y'all are and who's being hurt? Nobody.
Right.
But I think the best way to get somebody is to have a dope-ass dialect. You ever been so calm, you're just like, oh, okay, cool. And the person doesn't know what you're thinking, what to expect, or what the reaction is. That's also very scary.
Yeah. I was just going to say
silence is very effective.
I like this saying, we've been saying it since high school. Silence is golden, but duct tape is silver.
Oh, yeah.
Either way, you're going to shut the fuck up. You see what I'm saying? And I think oftentimes, too, if you're dealing, how many of us work with children, or you've been around kids? You got nieces, nephews, cousins, right? Could you imagine yourself going toe-to-toe with a youngster?
No.
Oh.
And we've all been there, right? You want to box them out. You want to be there. Kayla, like, square up, dog.
I'll
but at the same
little...
time, what teaching method are we leading? Or even it doesn't have to be a kid. It could be somebody in our workplace or somebody that we're connected to. And you want to be able to, like, tell them off. But your ultimate goal, you really want to see them grow.
Yeah. Know better, do better. It's always hard. It's
2
one
snaps
thing
for that.
It's one thing doing it with a kid, but it's harder when it's like a grown A person, whether it be your work,
What did
a coworker, a family member.
Age ain't nothing but a number.
No, exactly. And then it's hard when you have that evolution in yourself. You begin to be able to see it easier in others when they're stuck in their own, whatever it is that they're stuck in and can't see past it. They don't have that level of self-awareness. But you as a person who does has to, carry that high ground, hold that high ground, and just, allow for growth.
What Michelle said.
Yeah, when they go low, we go high.
When they go low,
Michelle,
you go to hell. When they go low,
y'all don't listen to
go
Mr.
to
Battery
hell.
over here.
I'm just playing.
I also think, too, those of you guys who are watching and listening, don't beat yourself up if you come home and you like, damn, I really wish I could have said. You ever been in an argument?
And then think about the things you should have said.
Yeah.
Like,
retroactive comebacks. I have them all the time.
Yeah, if I could just call her a bald-headed hoe. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
not a bald head, huh?
Oh, what? I'm an 80s baby.
Whoever threw that paper, your mom's a hoe. No, just kidding.
You
remember
ain't
that
seen that
video.
I do.
You do?
As uncool as I am,
Not
I
me
do
saying you
remember
do.
that. I know, right?
But yeah.
Is sometimes give yourself a pat on the back if you lose an argument.
Or if you just have a better reaction to something maybe you would have reacted to negatively in the past. Maybe like you were about to type that paragraph, but you just went, okay.
That's a perfect analogy. Because you can see it going and you see yourself texting, what's the matter, E? And you see yourself texting, all of a sudden you go, I'm not going to say that.
Yeah, what's the point? And then too, sometimes it's like when you know something is just going to fall on deaf ears anyway, it's just kind of for your own,
like,
for
what's
your
the
own
point?
peace and your own sanity. Just learn to just, stand firm in the knowledge and, let people go forth.
You ever had your mama, your auntie, or your big mama give you that look? They didn't have to say nothing.
Right.
They just gave you that look. Sometimes all you got to do is give somebody a look. And you don't really, much doesn't really have to come out of Kayla, doesn't have to come out of your mouth. Just look at somebody. And what's that? Bitch, you got me fucked up. It's just one of those things to where, but you also look into it and you go, I am so grateful for my growth. I know I am, because it didn't take much for me to be ready to lay hands on you in the name, right? Right, but it's one of those things now, like when I was in traffic the other day, and that dude, it's one thing to get the finger viewers and teammates, but it's one thing when somebody double fisted. He was like, "Bow," and this was me. And then the worst feeling is what? Get to the light at the same time.
I know.
We got to the light at this. This is a true story. This just happened to me. We got to the light at the same time, and I know the old Nita. I know me. I'm just gonna skip that part. But the fact that I got to the light and I just looked at him. Mm-hmm. What you think he did? As if I wasn't even here.
No eye contact.
No eye contact. And that didn't make me feel great. Like, yeah, that's what I thought. It made me proud that I didn't go the extra mile. Mm-hmm. And simultaneously, as I was driving, I was mad at myself. Like, that was your opportunity.
Oh, like you should have went off.
Sometimes it feels like weakness.
It does feel like weakness.
Yeah.
But it's like, what you gonna do? Like, we in a car. Like, you gonna get outside in the middle of traffic? Like, I mean,
but when you start building
it's crazy,
up stuff,
folks,
and all it takes is somebody to double fist you like that, and it don't come with tequila.
People are crazy. I remember this truck driver. He got out of his he opened his whole because the doors, they're kind of they're big, so they're like body size. Mm-hmm. He opened his whole thing to be like out at me, and I was like, whoa.
A woman at the light once got out of her Mustang, the drop top thing, crawled through it, no lie, crawled through it to give me both fingers. And then I watched her struggle to go back in.
Right.
That gave me joy. I
was like, them red lights.
And that's the point of it all. It's just there's nothing good. And I've had I was just telling Kayla, I've had a lot of really bad run-ins on the road, especially as of late, it feels like.
Yeah.
I really feel strongly that there's some kind of underground racing community in the Inland Empire. Because
there really is.
No, I'm serious.
And that's how you know we're getting older. Where you just like, why is everybody driving
so fast?
Right.
No, and it'll be people there's been people who have literally cut me off. I'll be driving and then they'll hop in front of me.
Yeah.
And then I don't want to be in the same lane as them. So I go in the other lane and then they hop in front of me in the other
I'm trying to get away from you.
I'm trying to get away from you.
I'm
but
trying
you're
to get away.
My life.
I'm trying to get out of the way.
My life.
But
that's
also
when I start
can
to
be
get
a
pissed
form
off.
of somebody trying to set you up as far as insurance. So you want to be
Right, exactly. But when in an instance like that, I get away from him and he drives off, but I'm sitting there and I'm fuming at the experience.
Right.
So then I start trying to see if I can go find him, and then of course he's long gone. So the whole time I'm driving mad, I'm just bringing myself down, just calming down. It's like, Nisha, what are you gonna do? Okay, let's say you find him. What are you gonna do? What's gonna happen? I'm literally talking myself down.
Honey, I think you are preaching to the choir. Those of you guys who are parents and you're trying to find outside cultural norms of parenting and communication styles, because sometimes the way that we were raised could be different, and society might call the new age parenting very therapeutically weak or soft.
Yeah.
I think that there's time and place for us down, and there's also time and place of
for
being
gentle parenting.
For gentle parenting. So
that's also stern talking to.
Right. Yes. But that's also, as you guys are watching and listening to us, that's also a communication style, because you're also being able to preach, teach, and expound that upon your child to let them know to see your grace. Right. There's a time and place to be when we get home.
And also to just kind of teach them how to communicate too.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of people grew up with bad communication skills, just between their parents. And
I've noticed a lot of people are incorporating meditation with children young in schools and things of that nature. I feel like that's a great tactic, just to learn how to self-regulate, calm yourself down, especially with children. They're so impulsive.
Kids nowadays talk to their parents any kind of way. They go to school, talk to people any kind of way, because they talk to their parents any kind of way.
Also, too, you see that in the classroom now. Remember, the classrooms used to be a very sacred place, right? You used to be scared to even raise your voice at your teacher. Now you got adolescents and students being very physically violent.
Well, that's because back in the day, back in the day, baby, they had paddles in the classroom.
There go Mr. Battery.
But now, that's against the
up
law.
In Louisiana.
Boy, though,
yeah,
too.
you grew up in Louisiana. We didn't grow up with that. I remember being in Louisiana visiting because my brother was living there at the time.
Yeah.
And he's, waking me up at like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning talking about I have to go down to school and convince the principal not to paddle him. And I did not even believe him. I thought he was lying.
Paddle?
Yes.
Yes.
But
Sounds like slavery.
he finally convinces me to go up to the school to talk to the principal. And why do I see the paddle literally right behind the principal?
Yeah, they have it hung up. Like, yeah.
Oh, wow. That's real.
Yeah, my elementary schools.
I grew up in California. We did not.
My elementary schools back in Louisiana where I'm from, they had paddles back in the day. With it branded and everything with a name on it hanging up on the wall.
Thank the Lord for Los Angeles County.
Yeah.
As we wrap up, I want us to remember.
I don't agree with that, by the way. I'm just saying.
No,
right.
No.
That it's okay to give yourself grace as far as communication. But sometimes to regulate your emotions, to your point, sometimes you got to choose to walk away.
Yes.
Sometimes you got to choose to be able to take that double-fisted finger and be like, because you know what you're capable of. But
you
gotta
also
don't want
pick and choose your battles.
Yes.
That part. You also don't want anybody to set you back. Caleb, give us a takeaway.
That
Lord,
pick
Mr.
and
Battery.
choose.
Pick and choose your
Battles.
Pick and choose your battles.
And not batteries.
2 snaps.
Pick and choose your battles and not batteries.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Nisha.
Communication. I feel that communication is key. But also understanding, comprehension is also very, very important in effective communicating. So I would just say continue to do the work on yourself to find that level of self-awareness on how you can communicate better. What are some of the things that you're hearing a lot when you're having your most heated, discussions? What's some of the rhetoric you're constantly hearing? Are you, you're so stubborn, you're so this, you're so that. Always just be having that level of self-reflection enough to work on it, because again, communication is key, but comprehension goes hand in hand with that.
Hand in hand.
I like that. My takeaway is remember, common sense is not common.
It's not.
It's not.
Sadly.
Also be graceful with yourself. Praise yourself. If you know that there was something, you could have called her a skeezer. You could have called her
a skeezer,
a nappy head, whatever. What did Snoop Dogg call our beloved? What did he call her?
I don't know what a skeezer is, babe.
What did he call her?
I forgot what he said.
What did Snoop Dogg call?
What he called
Gayle King.
What he call her?
I forgot. He said some not nice things, but
I know his mama was still alive.
Yeah,
at the time.
He had to talk with his mom, and she was like, "No."
She said, "Don't be talking about Gayle."
She made him apologize.
So if there are moments where you could have been like, "You bald-headed," and you didn't, go treat yourself. Take yourself to Starbucks, right? And reward yourself.
Give yourself a little treat.
Reward yourself and give yourself a treat.
A little pat on the back.
A little pat on the back to my parents or to my caregivers. There might be moments where the younger generation is taking care of an older parent and they may say something slick. I touched the nerve right there. We're going to have to write that one down. Is to give yourself grace that every action doesn't deserve a reaction.
Yes.
And be graceful with yourself, but also give yourself a lot of room, because sometimes they say the young will teach the old. Mm-hmm. And if you can find it within yourself to bridle your tongue, give yourself grace and appreciation that you could have really went off on your mama. You could have really went off on your auntie and you chose not to. So I commend that. So my takeaway will be whatever Amanda's reading looks juicy, but I want to know. My takeaway will be every action doesn't deserve a reaction. And then pick your reactions wisely. Pick your reactions wisely. And then
and make peace with those consequences.
And then make peace with the fact that you didn't say anything. But if you know out there that there's something slick that y'all said to somebody, go and fix it. It doesn't make you weak. It just makes you, because I know there's probably a lot of people like, I know Nita ain't out here preaching. She didn't call me so many times.
I ain't apologizing for nothing.
Right. So if you know that you've wronged somebody, go fix it. Or Pick up a book. The best way to hit somebody that's going off is hit them with big words and hit them with big conversation. But at the same time, have an awareness. Have an awareness and try your best to, you ain't everybody don't deserve your attitude. Sometimes you got to save it for to really need it. You may be wasting batteries on people who don't deserve it. Again, I am your captain, Coach Nita. I got my co-pilots, C, Rashad, and Samnisha, and we out.
Bye.